Today we're going to learn English with Back to the Future. Let's get started. Hey there, how's it going? Thiago here, and welcome to another video from the Media Corner series. Happy Sunday. This is video 3 of the series, and today we are looking into Back to the Future. I love Back to the Future, guys. It's one of my top favorite movies of all time. That one, I think I have seen, I don't know, man, thousands of times. I even know the lines by heart. It's so good. So today we're going to watch a clip from Back to the Future, and there's a lot of nice vocabulary here for us to take a look at, and also some connected speech here that I'm sure will help you in your English learning journey over there, and we're going to be having some fun. Before that, though, let me remind you that I've extended the deal for Black Friday for my pronunciation course. So now you can still buy my pronunciation course with the Black Friday price until January 1st, 2025, okay? So after many requests, I've decided to extend the deal. So here's your chance to buy the course at this very special low price. Link in the description of the video and also in the pinned comment below. But remember, after January 1st, that's it. The offer is gone forever. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started with Back to the Future. Before that, though, let me read a little bit of the premise here for you. Back to the Future is a 1985 American science fiction film directed by Robert Zemeckis and written by Zemeckis and Bob Gale. It stars Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Lea Thompson. Now, I'm not sure if the actress's name is Lea Thompson or Leah Thompson, Crispin Glover, and Thomas F. Wilson. Set in 1985, it follows Marty McFly, a teenager accidentally sent back to 1955 in a time-traveling DeLorean automobile built by his eccentric scientist friend, Emmett Doc Brown, where he inadvertently prevents his future parents from falling in love, threatening his own existence, and is forced to reconcile them and somehow get back to the future. So the premise of this movie, guys, is so original, so captivating. I don't remember seeing another movie with a similar premise, but that's really cool to think about, isn't it? What if you could meet your parents when they were teenagers? Imagine you are a teenager yourself. You are 17 years old. What if you could go back in time 30 years and meet your parents at 17? How do you think your father used to be like at school? Was he a bully? Was he the bullied kid? Was your mother a good student? What were their hobbies? I mean, it's a fascinating premise, so original. And that's the main plot here of the movie. So when Marty goes back in the past, he accidentally interferes with the natural course of events, which is his parents meeting and falling in love. But now he has to get their parents or his parents to meet and fall in love so that they can get married and he can exist in the future. It's such a genius idea for a movie, But anyway, let's get started here with the clip and let's watch it. All right, so let's get started here. So in this clip, Marty has just arrived in 1955. He is from 1985, the future, right, back then. So he's just arrived 30 years in the past by accident on the time machine, okay? So now he is at a diner in 1955, 30 years in the past.
You know where 1640 Riverside...
Are you gonna order something, kid?
Yeah. Give me a tab.
Tab? I can't give you a tab unless you order something.
So Marty here is asking for a tab. If you go to a restaurant, a bar, a diner, and you ask for a tab, you're basically asking the person there to not charge you right away. Just make a list, keep a tab, take notes of everything you consume, and then later you pay. It could be on the same day, it could be by the end of the week. So some tabs can be paid, let's say, weekly or monthly. I imagine that this kind of habit or this type of practice is also common nowadays anymore. But in the past, we are looking at 1955 here. I guess it was more common for people to have these more, let's say, trusting relationships between store owners and their customers, So it was a sign of trust. Yeah, like, okay, you don't have to pay now. I'll keep a tab, and then, you can pay me by the end of the week or by the end of the month. All right?
All right, give me a Pepsi free.
You want a Pepsi, pal? You're gonna pay for it.
Look, just give me something without any sugar in it, okay?
Some of that sugar.
Okay, let me just go back a little bit here. Yeah, nice part. Look.
Free.
So Marty's asking for a Pepsi free. I believe here Marty is referring to a Pepsi free of caffeine, because there is that version as well, yeah, of Pepsi without caffeine, either without caffeine or without sugar. Yeah, like the light Pepsi or Pepsi Light. But, again, that was 1955. Maybe that didn't exist back then, we didn't have Pepsi free of caffeine or free of sugar yet in the 50s. Actually, I'm not sure about that. I'm just speculating here. Let me know in the comment section if in 1955 there was already decaf Pepsi or sugar-free Pepsi, okay? Like light Pepsi.
You want a Pepsi, pal? You're gonna pay for it.
You want a Pepsi, pal? You're gonna pay for it. So pal is like friend. Yeah, it's a very informal, casual way of referring to usually a guy, yeah, a man. It's like, hey, you want a Pepsi friend? You want a Pepsi, pal? You're gonna pay for it. So it's funny that the waiter, he understood Pepsi free like Marty didn't want to pay for it, right? Maybe Marty was talking about free of decaf or free of sugar, sugar-free, right? But maybe the waiter understood that, I'm not going to give you a free Pepsi, all right?
Look, just give me something without any sugar in it, okay?
Some of that sugar.
That's his father, okay? Right next to him, he has just accidentally, run into his father at 17, okay? So they are the same age here. That's the fascinating thing about this movie, I think, guys. They are the same age, both father and son, all right? But of course, his father has no idea who he is because, in theory, Marty doesn't exist yet in 1955, right?
Hey, McFly! What do you think you're doing?
Okay, so I thought it was really cool that, because both are McFlys, right? We have the father, George McFly, and the son, the protagonist, Marty McFly, right? Both look, because both are McFlys, right? That was amazing.
Hey, McFly!
This is Biff, okay? He's the main antagonist in the movie. He's the bully here of the story, yeah? Biff and his gang, right? His friends right there, all right?
What do you think you're doing?
Did you hear the connected speech there? What do you think you're doing? What do you think you're doing? He doesn't even pronounce the R for you're doing here. It's like there's no R, and he just says, you doing. And what do you? He goes, what do you? What do you? The D here for do is a very light D, like a flap D, almost a da-da. What do you? What do you? What do you think you're doing? What do you think you're doing? That's how he says it. What do you think you're doing? Listen again.
What do you think you're doing?
Biff.
Hey, I'm talking to you, McFly, you Irish bug.
Oh.
More connected speech here, yeah? So going back a little bit, guys, I'm talking to you, McFly. Pay attention to how he pronounces the to. He doesn't say, I'm talking to you, McFly. Listen.
I'm talking to you, McFly, you Irish.
Did you hear that? Let me go back a little bit. Sorry.
What do you think you're doing?
Biff.
Hey, I'm talking to you, McFly. You see, so the to here gets reduced to a rara, very light rara. I dare say even na, almost, yeah, because of talking here. So it's almost like he's going, I'm talking to you. We don't pronounce the G for talking there. So it's almost like we have this sound, yeah, for the NG that kind of connects with the two. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, McFly. I'm talking to you. All right? Listen to that again.
Biff.
Hey, I'm talking to you, McFly, you Irish bug.
Oh, hey, Biff. Hey, guys. How are you doing?
You got
Now, Marty just realized, oh my God, that's my father in front of me. My father as a teenager, my age. Look at his face, right? I mean, it's so cool, man.
my homework finished, McFly?
Well, actually, I figured since it wasn't due till Monday.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Hey, think, McFly, think.
You know, this line is classic in this movie. You know, this is something that Biff always does to George. You know, hello, yeah, anybody home? Think, McFly, think. You know, and at the beginning of the movie, we get to see them. You know, George, Biff, in the future, which is 1985, right? And the way Biff treats George here when they were teens is exactly the same way he treats him when they are adults, you know, later. So here they're talking about schoolwork. In the 80s is just, you know, work stuff. But the pattern of behavior is the same. You know, George being bullied by Biff. It's always happened, all right? So let's go back here a little bit.
Due till Monday.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Hey, think, McFly, think. I gotta have time to recopy it. You realize what would happen if I hand in my homework in your handwriting? I'll get kicked out of school.
Ooh, okay. So we have something important here to point out. A conditional sentence, okay? Look.
To recopy it. You realize what?
So Biff starts, you realize what would happen. What would happen? This is the beginning of a second conditional sentence. Remember, it's would plus simple past. What would you do if you had $1 million? You know, it's would and past. So here we have the beginning of a second conditional question. What would happen? Now, in theory here, to follow the structure, he would have to continue in the past. But he doesn't do that. Look.
What would happen if I hand in my homework and
you see, what would happen if I hand in my homework in her handwriting? So ideally here, he would have to say hand it in the past, you know? You realize what would happen if I handed in my homework in her handwriting? It's a hypothetical situation, all right? But he's kind of mixing here the second conditional with the first conditional, you know? You realize what would happen if I hand in my homework, okay? One interpretation I get from this is that, you know, a Biff is your stereotypical bully, right? Not very clever, not very academically smart. So I think it makes sense that he would speak kind of wrong, grammatically speaking. He's the bully here. He's not the brain, all right?
your handwriting, I'll get kicked out of school.
Same thing here. He keeps it in the first conditional. I will get kicked out of school. I'll get kicked out of school. Ideally here, to keep it all in second conditional, we would have to say, I would get kicked out of school. So let's say that grammatically speaking, the question would be, you realize what would happen if I handed in my work in her handwriting? What would happen? I would get kicked out of school. And then now it's more grammatically correct. But as you can see here, he's kind of mixing both. Yeah, he's starting in the second conditional and finishing the first conditional. That's why, guys, it's very nice for you to study grammar because, you get to understand how the language works, and you also get to see when a native speaker, because, he is a native speaker, the actor here, yeah? You get to see when a native speaker is speaking correctly or not. It's really powerful for you to be able to identify that. But you can only identify that if you know grammar. So stop procrastinating on your grammar studies. Study grammar. Make grammar a part of your English practice. All right? By the way, I'll get kicked out of school, okay? There's some nice vocabulary here as well.
I gotta have time to recopy it. Do you realize what would happen if I hand in my homework?
So when you hand in your homework, it's a phrasal verb, you deliver your homework to the teacher. You hand in the homework, okay? Handwriting, well, your handwriting is the way you write. Yeah, if you grab a pen and a piece of paper and you write, what you see there is your handwriting, is the way you write the words on paper, okay?
work in your handwriting, I'll get kicked out of school.
And if a student is kicked out of school or gets kicked out of school, this person is expelled, invited to leave. Okay?
You wouldn't want that to happen, would you? Would you? Well, now.
Another great question here in structure, guys. This is an example of a tag question being used. Look, you wouldn't want that to happen, would you? All right. So a tag question is a mini question like would you that is asked at the end of a statement, of a sentence. So the sentence here, the statement is you wouldn't want that to happen. You see, it's a statement. It's not a question. But then at the end, I ask this mini question just for confirmation. That mini question is the tag question. Okay. And the mini question here needs to follow the same auxiliary. So the main auxiliary is wouldn't. So I'm going to use would as my tag question. Another part of the rule here is when the statement is negative, like in this case, the tag is affirmative. So the statement is negative. You wouldn't want that to happen. So the tag must be affirmative. Would you? And when the statement is positive, the tag is negative. You see, it's another grammar topic that you should study about and learn more about. So you wouldn't want that to happen, would you? And then he asks again, would you?
To happen, would you? Would you? Well, now, of course.
Nice, right? Now, looking at pronunciation, because we just looked at the grammar, right? Pronunciation. Listen to how Biff pronounces this statement. It's really connected, really fast, right?
I'll get kicked out of school.
Now,
you wouldn't want that to happen, would you?
You see, you wouldn't want that to happen. So the T for that drops. He only pronounces the T for two. So that to happen, that to happen. You wouldn't want that to happen, would you? Now, it's interesting because, normally here, I would say, would you? The D and the Y there, I would say, judge, would you? He is kind of in the middle here. If you listen closely, you can even reduce the speed if you want to. He pronounces very lightly. It's almost like a would you? Would ya? It's a light D, very light D, and he doesn't really go full ja, would ya, which is okay, yeah, to go would ya, but he goes would ya, would ya, would ya, very light. You wouldn't want that to happen, would ya? Would ya? All right, listen again.
Out of school. You wouldn't want that to happen, would you? Would you?
Well, now, of course not.
No,
I wouldn't want that to happen.
What are you looking at, butthead?
Okay.
What are you looking at, butthead?
What are you looking at, butthead? That's another classic line from Biff in the movies here. A butthead is a stupid person. Yeah, it's an informal, even offensive way of calling someone stupid, dumb, butthead. So what are you looking at, butthead?
Hey, Biff, get a load of this guy's life preserver.
Nice. Biff, get a load of this guy's life preserver. Life preserver is this vest that, Marty is wearing. Actually, in the 80s, apparently, this vest here was popular, the one that Marty is wearing. But in the 50s, the kids think that he's wearing a life preserver. The thing that you wear when you go out into the ocean, in order not to drown. Yeah. But what I want to draw your attention to actually here is the expression, get a load of. Get a load of. When you tell a person, hey, get a load of this, get a load of that, you are asking the person, hey, check it out. Take a look. See this. All right. That's what he means. Get a load of this guy's life preserver. Look at this guy's life preserver. Take a look. Check it out. Okay. That's why, guys, you got to watch movies and TV series because you learn so much vocabulary that you wouldn't learn in course books. I guarantee you, it'll be very hard. Guys, I've been teaching English for years and years. I don't remember seeing a course book teaching this expression, for example, get a load of this, get a load of that. It's so colloquial. Yeah. I'm not saying that course books are bad. They are useful and they can serve a purpose, right? But watching movies and TV series like that gets you in touch with real colloquial vocabulary. It's amazing, okay?
Dork thinks he's gonna drown.
Yeah. So how about my...
Dork, right? Listen.
Observer. Dork thinks he's
Dork is another word for butthead, dumb, stupid guy, you know? Oh, you're such a dork, you know? Like,
gonna drown.
Yeah. So how about my homework, McFly?
Okay, Biff. Well, I'll finish that on up tonight, and then I'll bring it over first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay, not too early. I sleep in Sundays. Oh, my...
not too early. I sleep in Sundays. Look, see here?
Morning.
Okay, not too early. I sleep in Sundays.
Another phrasal verb, yeah. If you sleep in, you stay in bed too late. Maybe on Sundays he gets up at 10, 11, midday, you know. So I sleep in Sundays means on Sundays, I get out of bed late, okay?
Oh, McFly, your shoes are tied. Don't be so gullible, McFly.
Okay.
I don't want to...
Such a bully, right? Biff is such a bully. Let's just go back here.
McFly, your shoes are tied.
Your shoes untied, okay? So usually you have to tie your shoes, right? Before, you know, leaving the house, wearing them. So if your shoes untied, or if your shoes are untied, you know, you have to tie them, okay?
Don't be so gullible, McFly.
Don't be so gullible, McFly. A gullible person is an innocent person. A person who is easily tricked, easily manipulated, believes everything people say, you know? You are gullible, like a child. A child is very innocent, believes everything. You see, so Biff is like, you know, of course, bullying George here, being a jerk, right? And don't be so gullible, McFly. Don't be so innocent.
I don't want to see you in here again.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
So Marty has just realized that his father, as a teenager, used to be bullied by Biff a lot. Actually, maybe it wasn't much of a shock, I would say, because again, at the beginning of the movie, he sees Biff still bullying his father, but now in a work situation when they are older. So maybe that wasn't much of a shock for him, yeah, to see his father being bullied, you know? Can you imagine that, guys? You are watching your father as a teenager or your mother as a teenager. Imagine.
What?
You're George McFly.
Yeah, who are you?
Say, what do you let those boys push you around like that for?
Well,
Okay, nice expression here.
Say, what do you let those boys push you around like?
Why do you let those boys push you around like that for? So when you push someone around, you bully that person. You know, you take advantage of that person. Yeah, so you see, Goldie here, I think he's a waiter too at the diner. He's asking, hey, why do you let Biff and the guys treat you like this? Push you around like this, you know?
Like that for?
well, they're bigger than me.
Stand tall, boy. Have some respect for yourself.
Nice phrase here. Yeah. I love Goldie in this clip, by the way.
Stand tall, boy.
Stand tall, boy. So stand tall is like, you know, fight, you know, defend yourself, you know, say what you want to say, do what you want to do. Don't be afraid or intimidated by those guys. Stand tall. Have some respect for yourself.
Have some respect for yourself. Don't you know if you let people walk over you now, they'll be walking over you for the rest of your life.
Guys, this is one of the great lessons from this movie that I find, you know, it's a great lesson that the movie instills, let's say, or is trying to give off here. Look.
Don't you know if you let people walk over you now, they'll be walking over you for the rest of your life.
You see, if you let people walk over you now, in other words, take advantage of you, they will be doing that for the rest of your life. You will always be the bullied person. You will always be the person who is taken advantage of by other people. You see, and this is a nice expression too. When people walk over you or all over you, those people do whatever they want with you. You know, they mistreat you, they treat you badly, and you don't do anything. You let people walk all over you. You don't impose yourself. All right? So very nice expression here, very nice message, I think, very nice lesson for us to think about. And about pronunciation, he doesn't really pronounce of here, you know, for the rest of your life. I believe he goes resta your life. Let's listen to that part again. It was so fast.
You let people walk over you now, they'll be walking over you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, exactly. So he doesn't really say rest of, but resta. The of gets reduced to a sound, a schwa sound. Rest of your life. Rest of your life. To be honest, I don't even hear life. It's almost like it's going like, you know, rest of your life. Rest of your life. Okay? Or like. Listen again.
You let people walk over you now, they'll be walking over you for the rest of your life. Look at me. You think I'm going to spend the rest of my life in this slop house?
Watch it.
Okay. Goldie is great, man. Do you think I'm going to spend the rest of my life in this slop house? If you call a diner, in this case, a slop house, you are referring to a place that is not really fancy, not really sophisticated. It doesn't really serve lots of fancy food. Actually, it serves hearty food, kind of fat, greasy food. I imagine at a cheap price. You know, it's a simple type of place where you eat, you know, in this context here. So it's not really disrespectful, but it's right there. You know, it's borderline offensive. That's why I think his boss there, the other guy there, the old guy said, watch it, Goldie, you know, you are, you know, walking on thin ice here. Yeah. So let's listen to that part again.
You think I'm going to spend the rest of my life in this slop house?
Watch it, Goldie.
No, sir. I'm going to make something of myself. I'm going to night school. And one day I'm going to be somebody.
That's right, he's gonna be mayor.
Yeah, I'm a mayor.
And that's amazing, guys, because in the 80s, in Marty's time, Goldie is the mayor of the city. He's a politician. Yeah. But it's really cool, like this dynamics here, right? He worked at a diner, and you see, he's going to night school, and one day he's going to be somebody. And then Marty, oh yeah, I mean, you're going to be mayor. I mean, you know, when I'm alive, 30 years in the future, you are the mayor, you know, so you are somebody, you see? But they have no idea here. Yeah, it's just, you know, a conversation they're having. Really cool. And again, I love Goldie's attitude here. I love it, you know? It's his attitude of, okay, right now I'm working at a diner, not the most glamorous job, but I have ambitions, you know? I'm going to night school. I'm learning. I'm getting better. And one day, I'm going to, you know, be somebody. I'm going to make something of myself. I love that attitude. He's not playing the victim here, you know? He has ambitions and he's working to achieve them. And in the movie, you know, in the future, he does get his ambition. He becomes the mayor of the town.
Somebody.
That's right.
I want to go back to this part because, you know, I love his energy and enthusiasm.
To spend the rest of my life in this slop house?
Watch it, Goldie.
No, sir. I'm going to make something of myself. I'm going to night school. And one day I'm going to be somebody.
That's right, he's gonna be mayor.
Yeah, I'm a mayor. Now that's a good idea. I could run for mayor.
Very common expression here. Yeah, I could run. You know, when you talk about politics, you know, running for president, running for governor, running for mayor, when you become a candidate. You know, if you run for president, for example, you become a candidate for the presidency. And then people have to vote for you to actually get the job, right?
Run for mayor.
A colored mayor, that'll be the day.
You wait and see.
Nice expression here. So, Mr. Caruthers, yeah, he says, that'll be the day. So this expression here, that'll be the day, is like, I really don't believe that. If you really want to communicate that you really don't believe something will happen, you can say, oh yeah, that'll be the day. It's a very sarcastic remark, okay? Guys, keep in mind that that was in the 50s, okay? This situation here is happening in the 50s. Keep that in mind, okay? So the guy here is saying, that'll be the day. That's never going to happen, you know?
Mayor, that'll be the day.
You wait and see, Mr. Carruthers. I will be mayor.
And Goldie's like, no, I will be mayor. You wait and see, you know? And he becomes one.
I'll be the most powerful man in Hill Valley, and I'm
Hill Valley is the town, okay?
gonna clean up this town.
Good. You can start by sweeping the floor.
Man, Goldie Wilson. Like the sound of that.
Yeah, Goldie doesn't like the ofs, apparently. You know, again, he doesn't say sound of that, but sounder. Of gets reduced to a here, so sound of that becomes sounder. Sound of that. Sound of that. I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that. Okay, listen again. This is all connected speech, guys.
Man, Goldie Wilson. Like the sound of that.
Hey, Dad, George, you're in the bike. You know, that was really cool, guys. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. And there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode from the Media Corner about Back to the Future. I hope you learned a lot of English. Don't forget to check out my Black Friday deal for the Sounds of English, my pronunciation course. In the pronunciation course, you're going to learn all of these connected speech patterns that we pointed out today and more, okay? So very special deal going on until January 1st. Link in the description, also in the pinned comment below. I'm Thiago, I'm signing off. Thank you so much. Happy Sunday, and I'll be talking to you very soon in the upcoming video. Bye-bye.